What's up, everybody? Welcome into the show. You're watching the San Francisco 49ers Report. My name is Chase Sr., and as always, no matter where you are, how you're tuned in, thank you so much for making today's show a part of your day. There are so many Niners content options out there. Anytime you decide to choose us and hang out here with me on the program, we greatly appreciate that. As for what's coming up, Niners Saints Week 2 preview as San Francisco travels to the Big Easy, New Orleans, to look to push that record to 2-0. Kickoff is set for Sunday, September 14th, 1 p.m. Eastern, an early game on the West Coast, 10 a.m. San Francisco time. So obviously for this Niners bunch, it is going to be that early Pacific Eastern time slot. Never easy, especially in a really loud environment, Superdome in New Orleans. But shoot, San Francisco battle-tested. They just came through with that clutch win on the road in Seattle, which is looked at as one of the more difficult places to play. The betting line for this game has been fascinating with all of the Niners injury news that we've seen this week. George Kittle on injured reserve. Brock Purdy not going to play. And so the Niners were touchdown favorites. Then it went down to 4. Now it's down to 3.5. The over-under for this game also pretty laughable when you factor in that usually around the NFL, especially this time of year as things are getting ironed out, it is an offensive slugfest. This game expected to be a defensive slugfest like it was last week. The over-under total at just 40 even. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, by the way, and join us. We'll be live right here on the 49ers Report for a Niners Saints Week 2 watch party. We go live for every single Niner game. You don't want to miss it. And as I always like to say, it's the best place to experience a Niners game day outside of being at the actual game. The big Brock Purdy update this week. He will miss 2 to 5 weeks with a form of turf toe. That, according to Ian Rappaport, NFL insider for the NFL Network. General manager John Lynch said on Thursday morning it's a week-to-week injury. He's definitely ruled out, though, for this game against New Orleans, and it's a big blow for San Francisco here. If he is out for the next 5 games, here are the next 5 matchups for the Niners. On the road against the Saints, home opener at Levi Stadium, the site of Super Bowl 60 against the Arizona Cardinals. At home again against the Jacksonville Jaguars. If Mac Jones plays, it's the Jags' revenge game spot for him. Then the Niners go on the road to play the Rams on Thursday Night Football, and then they're on the road after a mini-bye to play a really good Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. So some difficult matchups await for San Francisco with or without Brock Purdy. And why this Brock Purdy injury news sucks, he just got paid $55 million per year. In week 1 against your most hostile rival, he staged an epic comeback to silence the crowd and come through with a massive victory to start off the 2025 season. There were a lot of questions about Brock Purdy's ability to play well and win games late when either the Niners were trailing or the game was close and tied, and he was able to answer a lot of those questions. Some people said, Brock Purdy, he doesn't have the clutch gene. He displayed that and shut everybody up. All of the detractors were silenced with what he did on that final drive. 6 of 6, including a 45-yarder down the left sideline to Ricky Pearsall to get that drive going, to get the Niners matriculating down the field, and then he hits Jake Tonges on an unbelievably athletic play to win the game for San Francisco. There's also this, the injury history with your biggest investment in franchise history is a little bit concerning, right? Hurt his elbow in 2022, fully healthy in 2023, but then last year he dealt with a couple of different injuries, and now it's turf toe. He's a smaller guy. He's not built like a Ben Roethlisberger back in the day, a Tom Brady, a Josh Allen modern day, Patrick Mahomes, or a Jalen Hurts. He's a little bit of a smaller guy, and usually smaller guys at the NFL level can be more injury prone. You don't want that to happen after you gave him $55 million big ones per year. And then the injury luck in general for San Francisco continues to be awful. They are the most cursed injury team in the NFL. So it is now Mac Jones' time with the Niners, whether it's one game or the next 5, we'll certainly see. I really like the investment that the Niners made in him during free agency. Very good value deal if he ends up playing well, especially for a backup. 2 years, $8.4 million. He has 49 career starts. He's compiled a 20-29 record. Context, as I always say, very important. That record, it's been on bad teams. New England was bad when he was there. The Jacksonville Jaguars last year were horrible. And I think what's notable here and why I think that Jones can have success on top of him having ability, Kyle Shanahan really liked him in the pre-draft process in 2021. Of course, the Niners moved up to take Trey Lance. Trey Lance is now on his third team. So too is Mac Jones. But Shanahan liked Mac with what he did at Alabama, led them to a national championship, led all quarterbacks in the country in multiple passing categories. He put up stupid numbers that year. But I think Shanahan saw this is a quarterback like a Matt Ryan, who's not the best athlete, but he can run the system, play point guard, distribute the ball, and he can have success in this offense. And I think Mac Jones can. He's capable of being a quality backup quarterback for Shanahan. He's capable of carrying the load until Brock Purdy comes back. He's capable of putting up really solid numbers. But Niners are going to have to do a couple of things in order for him to have success. They have to protect him. The Niners' offensive line against the Seahawks, glaringly bad. Brock Purdy was pressured the highest percentage of his career. Nearly 60% of the time that he dropped back, he was under duress. Pressured 57.9% of his dropbacks. That was Purdy's highest rate of his career. Under pressure, Purdy went 13 of 20 for a $126, a touchdown, and 2 picks. If Mac Jones is put under pressure, he does not have the foot speed, the mobility, or the running ability to escape that pressure. And how many times have I said this? Brock Purdy bails out this mediocre Niners offensive line so much and this offense with his ability at a high level to improvise, create out of structure, make improvisational plays. For Mac, a lot of the offense has to be on schedule, and San Francisco is going to have answers to the blitz, and they're going to have to protect well and run the ball well. We have some fascinating numbers coming up on the back half of the show, so don't go anywhere because you don't want to miss that insight. And look, going into this game, the Niners undoubtedly are the better team than the New Orleans Saints. The Saints are rebuilding. They have a new regime as far as their head coach and coaching staff led by Kellen Moore. Brandon Staley is their defensive coordinator. But they're in this era right now where they're rebuilding. They're really tinkering with the roster. They tore it down, and they're looking to build it back up because it's been tough for Saints fans over the last few years. So while the Niners have more talent, they have more depth, they have the better coaching staff, this game is not going to be a cupcake game. And it could be a trap game for San Francisco because, as we know, this league is a league of parity. And upsets happen all the time because anything can happen on any given Sunday. Some major Niners injury news outside of Brock Purdy. George Kittle, of course, out with a hamstring injury. He has been placed on injured reserve. He's out at least the next 4 weeks. For San Francisco in week 1, a clutch, big balls win for the Niners on the road in a huge spot. I love the 95-yard opening touchdown drive. Now, they didn't do much outside of that, but when it mattered in crunch time, Brock Purdy, after he threw those 2 picks, flushed those mistakes, drove San Francisco down the field, and had that great drive. The Niners could have lost that game, maybe should have lost that game, and nearly lost that game. Jake Moody, 2 missed field goals. It didn't help matters at all. It flipped momentum. There was a 6-point swing right before halftime when Moody clanked it off the upright from 27. Then the Seahawks go down the field. They get 3. And then Jake Moody's second field goal, it got blocked. No longer with this football team, and for good reason. I absolutely loved how Robert Saleh's defense played. They balled out, and that kind of surprised me because they have a bunch of new and young faces on that side of the ball. But either way, a huge win to start the year for the Niners. Speaking of Jake Moody, Eddie Pinheiro has been signed to the Niners. He replaces Jake Moody. This is San Francisco's new kicker. He is top 5 all-time in field goal percentage. That's a big reason why the Niners brought him in, and all eyes will be on him, and he will feel the pressure. Split the uprights, do your job. That's all that we ask, and don't make us go crazy like Moody made us go crazy because it was a maddening Moody experience. The Saints in week 1, they did lose to the Arizona Cardinals 20-13, but a lot of people thought they were going to get blown out. They didn't. They hung tough. I thought Spencer Rattler played solid. Now, his passer rating, his QBR, his quarterback rating, they weren't great, but he distributed the football well. Of note, his yards per completion was under 5, so he threw a lot of short passes, short completions, and short checkdowns. The Saints do have some explosive weapons on the offensive side of the ball, but at wide receiver, a lot of their receivers are shorter. That could benefit this Niners defense. New Orleans, though, they did run the ball. And of note, this is Kellen Moore's offense. Philadelphia last year, with him calling the plays, Saquon Barkley ran for more than 2,000 yards. And so Kellen Moore, he does like to run it. He's kind of altered his approach offensively a little bit over time, but the Saints in week 1, 22 totes for a $107, nearly 5 yards per carry. New Orleans' defense did give up 146 rushing yards. That came on 5.4 yards per carry. The Niners would love to get this ground game going, especially with the backup quarterback. And the Saints team now, as compared to last year, a much better coach team. They're going to be so much more prepared than they have been in previous years because Kellen Moore is running a clean shop. With that, who you got in this game? Type SF for the Niners, NO for the New Orleans Saints. Get those game predictions down in the comment section for me. Now, coming up next, my keys to the game for San Francisco to pull out a victory, to drop the Saints to 0-2, and to start the year 2-0. I'm telling you, it is possible, even though the Niners are going to be without Brock Purdy and George Kittle. But first, let's give a shout out to our sponsor. This episode of the 49ers Report brought to you by PrizePicks. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. Show me that you know ball. Sign up with PrizePicks. Join the millions of users nationwide and go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. When you use the code CLNS and you place your first $5 lineup, you get $50 instantly. PrizePicks is simple to play. You pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. PrizePicks puts their users first. All withdrawals, fast, safe, and secure. PrizePicks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. PrizePicks also invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup is not perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Our lineup for week 2. Let's go Eddie Pinheiro. More than 1.5 field goals made. San Francisco could move the ball, but they might have to settle for field goals with Mac Jones, and so Eddie P is going to be put to the test. Ricky Pearsall, more than a half rushing or receiving touchdown. Can he get into the end zone for the first time this year? And then the special this week, Travis Kelce, more than a half receiving yard. Play $5, get $50 instantly in lineups. It's real money sports action made easy. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use that code CLNS. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. All right, to the back half of our preview here. This is the 49ers Report. Chase Sr. here with you. I'm glad all of you are hanging out here for our Niners-Saints preview. This is how the 49ers can win this game on the road, tough environment, without the likes of Brock Purdy, because Mac Jones is going to get the start for head coach Kyle Shanahan. Major key to the game, number 1, as I'm about to give you evidence behind this point, the Niners must protect Mac Jones. Keep in mind, he is a statue in the pocket. He cannot hurt you with his feet or his legs. He cannot extend plays to make plays downfield improvisationally like Brock Purdy can. Brock Purdy is such a sneaky, good, underrated athlete, and his feet, his ability to extend plays, it has bailed this bad Niners offensive line out time and time again. He did it in week 1, yet he was still pressured on a career high for his dropbacks. 57.9%, highest rate of his career. Under pressure, Purdy, all things considered, did fare pretty well. 13 of 20, 126 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks. Mac Jones and how he handles pressure, going to be a big storyline in this football game. And this is something that Kyle Shanahan and this Niners offense has really struggled with in the past. They have to handle pressure, handle blitzes, and protect Mac Jones in order to win this game. Because here is how Mac fared against pressure looks in 2024. When he was kept clean, he completed 72.1% of his passes, 1,438 yards, 7 touchdowns, 5 picks. When he was under pressure, his completion rate went down to 38.9%, 243 yards, no touchdowns, 3 picks. When he was not blitzed, he completed 69% of his throws, 1,100 yards, 2 touchdowns, 5 picks. When he was blitzed, 56.6%, 536 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 3 picks. In 2023, Mac Jones against pressure, when he was kept clean, 71.8% completion, more than 1,600 yards, 7 touchdowns, 5 picks. When he was not blitzed, 65.9%, 1,600 yards, 9 touchdowns, 9 picks. But when he was put under pressure, completion rate plummeted again to 46.2%, 477 yards, 3 touchdowns, 7 picks. When he was blitzed, also struggled here, 61.7%, 472 yards, a touchdown, and 3 picks. Mac Jones and this Niners team, they have to be better prepared against pressure looks, blitzes, and they have to protect him if they want to win this game. Which brings me to this. Number 2, Mac Jones has to avoid the back-breaking, momentum-altering turnover. This can win or lose you the game, and it can really cost you in a big spot. The numbers that I just broke down give us context for how Mac fares, but also how he's prone to turning the football over at such an alarming rate. And this is something that has driven his coaching staffs crazy, and this is why he hasn't been able to solidify himself as a long-term starter. He puts the ball in harm's way at inopportune times. He gives it away, and it's led to a lot of bad losses. 20-29 for his career. So you love the experience that he's had, but 54 touchdowns to 44 picks, that is not a great touchdown to interception ratio. The completion percentage, just shy of 66, that's not bad. Yards per attempt could be better, not awful, 6.7. His passer rating, 84.9. Backup numbers. He's also fumbled on top of the picks 57 times. Again, how often he's given it up, bad English, it's been alarming. Saints do have a new defensive coordinator under first-year head coach Kellen Moore. Guess who it is? Former Niners assistant Brandon Staley, who used to be the head coach of the Chargers, defensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams. He will be aggressive. He will blitz. He will come up with different looks throughout the game. He will have a plan against Mac Jones. And it's not like Mac has no tape out on him. There's a lot of tape out on Mac Jones. Because you are playing a backup, and because this player is so valuable, we need another big game for Christian McCaffrey. I know that Christian McCaffrey has really carried the water for this Niners offense so often when he's been on the field. He's just a great player, and this is what he's capable of doing, even when he didn't play his best game. Even though his yards per carry over expected numbers were not good in week 1. Even though he didn't look to me like the 2023 Christian McCaffrey. This is how great of a player he is. This is how impactful he can still be at this juncture of his career when things for the offense aren't necessarily going that well, when the offensive line isn't blocking that well. He still had 22 carries for 69 yards, 9 catches, and 73 yards. More than 140 all-purpose yards. And Christian McCaffrey didn't even play his best game. San Francisco as a team averaged 3.3 yards per carry. They have to be. And I mean they have to be better. The Cardinals in week 1, they averaged 5.5 yards per carry. How can the Niners' run game exploit the Saints' rushing defense? Huge storyline in this game. Kyle Juszczyk, Ricky Pearsall, and Kendrick Bourne, less than a week after the Niners signed him, have to step up, and they have to play well. And specifically with Kyle Juszczyk, without George Kittle, Juice is going to get some tight end run. Now, Luke Farrell will be the top tight end. Jake Tonges, week 1 hero, will be the backup tight end. Braden Willis is going to be elevated from the practice squad to the active game day roster. But in order to offer the Saints defense a different look, different personnel packages, and to just put your best players in a position to succeed and give them an opportunity to be successful and make an impact on the game, Kyle Juszczyk's going to play some tight end, and I'm fine with that. I mean, there was a psycho play that Kyle Shanahan drew up in the first week of the year where Kyle Juszczyk ran a delayed wheel route after he was a blocker downfield. So he comes out of the backfield, he fakes as a blocker, and then he runs down the sideline, and Purdy was able to hit him on that wheel route. Like, You have to come up with those types of plays, especially explosive plays, to put your best players in a position to succeed. Utilize the versatility and the special playmaking ability of Kyle Juszczyk outside of just having him be deployed as a lead blocker. Ricky Pearsall, on the other hand, he was terrific in week 1. He's got an opportunity here to really help out his backup quarterback. Against the Seahawks, he looked to be that first-round pick that the Niners envisioned him being when they took him in the 2024 draft. He looked to be the number 1 wideout for the Niners that they desperately need right now without the likes of Brandon Ayuk, with Jauan Jennings hurt. We'll see if he plays in this game. 7 targets, 4 catches, a $108, an average of 27, and then obviously on that final drive, the big 45-yarder downfield. And I know that Kendrick Bourne was signed earlier this week, less than 7 days before he's going to suit up for San Francisco, back in the number 84. He's back. He knows this offense. He knows this scheme. Obviously, his learning curve is being sped up, but the Niners need him because they're shorthanded on offense. And then key to the game, number 5. Can Robert Saleh's defense do it again? I was so impressed with how San Francisco's defense played in week 1. And this is the beauty of great coaching. When you have one of the best coaching staffs in the NFL, which the Niners have, you have a chance to win week in and week out. And we can see performances like we saw in week 1, where with a bunch of new faces, with a bunch of young players, and a handful of rookies, you can correct what you did poorly last year. Stop the run, hold up on third downs, get off the field, hold up in the red zone, and then lean on your superstars in Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, Diamador Lenore to make game-changing plays. And for Bosa, he closed that game out. But also, the beauty of great coaching is speeding up the development of your young players, having them feel confident enough to play well, putting them in a position to succeed. Mykel Williams, C.J. West, Alfred Collins, Upton Stout, Marquis Siegel, they all played for this Niners defense, and they all showed glimpses of becoming really impactful players for this team. And this is a Saints offense that didn't really push the ball downfield in week 1. They did have success running the ball, but they don't have a good offensive line. This Niners defense can really carry San Francisco to a week 2 victory. And it's just really important for San Francisco right now, with these injuries, to play as much complimentary football as they can. Saints players to watch. Tight end Juwan Johnson led the team in receiving in week 1. Chris Olave, when he's healthy, he's dealt with a lot of concussion issues. Really special player in this league. Rashid Shaheed is so dynamic, elusive, and electrifying. He's got vertical speed to take the top off of the defense. He will serve as that vertical option for the Saints offense. Alvin Kamara's been in the league for a long time. He's still highly impactful. And Cam Jordan, one of the best Saints players in the history of that organization, he's been in the league for a long while. He's long in the tooth, but he can still bring it. I want you to predict the score for this Niners-Saints game. How are you feeling about San Francisco going on the road here in week 2? Share your thoughts with me. I do think if the Niners can play a clean game, they can win. No turnovers, no missed field goals, win the turnover battle. If you do turn the rock over, convert on third downs, convert in the red area, they're the more talented team, they're the deeper team, and they have the better coaching staff. Once again, just like week 1, when I picked the Niners to win 20-18, I think this too is a low-scoring game. I think this too is a close game. Give me the Niners 23-19. San Francisco goes to 2-0.